Hi friends, my name is Ben from benribble.com Coaching, where we focus on three foundational pillars: leadership, productivity, and organization to ensure that you can be successful at work, but more importantly, in your life. Now, on today's episode, we're going to talk about communication. And I know that for most people, when we hear the word communication, we get a little bit of anxiety. But in all honesty, today we're not talking about the type of communication that should give you anxiety or does give most people anxiety, public speaking. No, we're actually talking about the kind of communication that you do on a regular basis every single day, day in and day out. For instance, it could be just talking to a colleague. It could be sending an email, answering a phone, or maybe even using a messaging system throughout your office. These are the types of communications that we're going to discuss today, and we're going to talk about how you can be more efficient and effective in communicating in those manners. So let's go ahead and get started with 5 ways to communicate like a leader. So first and foremost, number 1, and it's number 1 for a reason: learn to listen. Learn to listen. And it's super important that we learn to listen because it conveys confidence in our ability to hear someone, and they're more likely to open up to us if we learn to listen, right? So a couple of different ways that we can learn to listen. Number 1 is we can really pay attention when someone is talking to us. Oftentimes, when someone is talking to us, we get this innate need to come up with a response. And so we start thinking more about, how am I going to respond to what this person is saying? And lo and behold, we miss out on half of what they're actually saying. So we can employ a tactic called active listening, where we actually kind of parrot back or repeat back or summarize back, however you want to say it, what the person is saying to you. That way they know that you are hearing what they're saying. You're actually using the same words as them, which gives them confidence that you're hearing them. And really what this does is it allows an opportunity to clear up any misconceptions at that time, right? So everyone wants to be heard. That is without a doubt one of the most important things that we need to understand, is that everyone wants to be heard. And here's the deal: others will notice when you listen, and they'll be more likely to talk to you. All right? So let's move on to number 2. The second skill for communicating effectively is avoid slang and informalities. Now, I know every workplace has all of these different acronyms or abbreviations and things that they say in their office that makes sense to them, but it may not make sense to everyone. And I know for a fact that if it were me on the receiving end of one of these that I didn't understand, I would not want to come across as dumb or ignorant of the vocabulary, the talk. So chances are, and I know this is probably not right, but most people do this, I would just nod and smile. And then I would be thinking about that. What did that mean? What was he trying to say there? Or what was she trying to convey to me? So much so that I might miss out on other things that he or she was saying at that time. Right? So really avoid using slang, informalities, don't use acronyms, things of that nature in the workplace. It's important that you portray a positive and clear picture of what you want to communicate. All right, number 3, we're going to focus on being brief. Right? How many times have we seen the meme or some kind of a cartoon that's indicating that meeting should have been an email, right? Understanding when something needs to be brief, understanding when something is not important enough to be a meeting that everyone needs to be a part of. That is an important part of being a good communicator. And really, you need to practice getting your point across with as few or with using as few words as possible, right? Using as few points. Make it very, very, very clear. And you still have to make sure, though, while you're doing this, that you are providing enough information that the individuals that you are speaking to are getting a clear picture. So there's kind of a fine line that you have to walk. But this is one of those skills that's going to take some time. So practice it, develop it, get better. All right, number 4, our fourth skill to being a better communicator is pay attention to others' emotions. Right? Sometimes a person's emotions, their facial expressions, their body language, their posture can actually convey more about what they're trying to say to you than the words themselves. This is kind of a hard one because you have to train yourself, just like any of these others, in a new skill where you start to observe the whole person, not just listen to the words that they're saying. That means that you have to be 100% invested in the conversation. You actually might even have to learn a little bit of psychology to really get this one down pat. And you're going to find that sometimes sympathy and empathy are important and they're needed, and they're actually going to help convey your understanding. You're going to need to learn to look at things from the other person's point of view. And again, that is one of those things that's really, really hard for us to do. Sometimes we get so caught up in our point of view that we don't want to take the time to listen or even to think through someone else's point of view or their perspective on a situation. Do that. It's going to make you a much better communicator. And number 5, our very, very last tip for today on how to be a better communicator and in turn become a better leader is to be charismatic. All right? And really, this is a skill just like any of these others that can be learned, and you're going to have to practice it to get better at it. But being charismatic means that you are showing some of your own emotions, that you are excited about what you are talking about, right? It shows confidence and passion for what you are communicating. Something else, kind of a byproduct that comes out of charisma, of someone being charismatic, is that you tend to see optimism in them, right? It's a lot easier to have a positive outlook on life when somebody is charismatic and really energetic and happy when they present something to you, as opposed to someone who who phones it in like Eeyore. It's monotoned. It's very boring. It's hard to listen to, and it's almost it's almost a downer. To have somebody talking to you like that. It's definitely difficult to pay attention to what they're saying. That's for sure. All right. And really, like I was just saying, charismatic communicators are interesting. I mean, really, they're interesting. You're more likely to listen to them, aren't you? I mean, think about it. Think about your past. Think about any time that you've ever been in a lecture or some sort of a presentation or a meeting, even for that matter, in your company or wherever you're at. I will guarantee you that if the leader, the person communicating, was more charismatic, chances are they were more interesting, and you were much more likely to pay attention to what they were saying to you. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our 5 ways or 5 things, skills that you can improve to become a better communicator. Now, before I let you go here, I want to thank you, first of all, for staying to the end of this video. And as a gift, I want to give you a free ebook that I've put together with several hints and tips on how to be a better communicator. All you have to do is click the link in the video below, and it'll take you right to that download. Or you can go to benribble.com/communicate. And again, you'll have that form to fill out and get that free ebook. If you have any questions or there's anything that you are struggling with when it comes to communication, leadership, productivity, or organization, go ahead and drop that in the comments. I'd love to get in and converse with all of you in regards to that. All right, that's it for today. Have a great one.